Peace was restored to the land broken by civil war. The traces of French colonial rule now became history in faded photographs. The virgin forest that had survived colonial rule and civil war became the paradise of life like the last 20,000 years. Along with cacao, a gift from the forest, the people of Côte d'Ivoire dreamed of hope. To these people, life is a festival. They embedded art in labor and found joy in death. I am on my way to meet Senufo tribe. After crossing continents and seas, and after crossing the whole of Africa, I met Côte d'Ivoire in spring. After visiting the last virgin forest in West Africa, I headed towards Korhogo, where tribal life has been preserved. After leaving the coastal cities that had more frequent interaction with the West, I was able to see many amusing sights that were very human. I was able to feel the humor of Africans, known for their good nature. A smile spread across my face. Côte d'Ivoire is a country inhabited by 66 different tribes. Korhogo is the capital of the Senufo tribe. It is an old city built in the 14th century. Korhogo means heritage in the Senufo language. New life busily displays itself on top of heritage. The heritage that will probably be passed on to Korhogo's descendants is this: cotton. Korhogo is a world-famous place of cotton production. The smell of food wafts in from a corner of the parking lot in between the trucks. The big pot of rice and stacked ingredients and the preparation being made is probably a makeshift cafeteria for locals.
그러니까 식당이에요. 노동자들을 위한 식당.
The people who will be eating this meal are the workers working at the cotton factory. I followed the workers to the factory after their meal. There was a mountain-sized load of cotton piled up.
지금 와 어마어마한 양의 이렇게 많은 코튼을 본 적이 있나요?
The soft and cushion-like cotton balls go well with the clouds in the sky. This is all cotton gathered from the farms in different villages.
Ouais, cette année, on va traiter 120 000 tonnes.
120 000.
Korhogo people either cultivate or produce cotton. Korea is a big purchaser of Korhogo cotton. The cotton is reborn in the hands of the Senufo people, who are known for their artistic character. This is where you spin the thread out of the cotton. There are many splendid fabrics like silk and wool. They also embroider Africa's symbol. It is the women that connect the closely weaved fabrics. A very complex process is undergone in order to create clothes. Looms are lined up at the end of a long cotton thread. It is interesting to note that it is the men who weave the threads. They move their hands too fast for the eye to follow, and they use their hands and feet only. They create a really beautiful product.
사람 손이 만들어내는 그 리듬, 거기서 빚어지는 소리. 굉장히 지금 잠겼습니다.
The sound of warp and weft threads being crossed make it sound like clubs beating against each other. A common workstation exists in the village where the men gather to work at weaving all day long. Making fabric is another technique and tradition passed on in Korhogo. All of these people are skilled professionals. The Senufo weave narrow pieces of fabric and connect them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And they even put in patterns inside. So it is amazing. I decided to try weaving an easier part of the fabric.
Voilà,
Yes.
voilà.
You take it by here. Yes.
Tac, tac.
Now.
Tac, tac, tac.
Yes.
Voilà. Allez.
오케이, 들어가고.
The waft and warps that had crossed each other instantly suddenly slow down like a turtle in my hands.
Tac, tac, tac. Tac, tac, tac. Voilà.
Well done.
순전히 사람의 손과 요 발의 힘만으로 만든 천입니다. 이거 보세요. 이 진짜 이 결국은 천입니다.
Et il y a une raison particulière. Le village était déjà un village de tisserands avant la colonisation française. Et donc, quand ils ont commencé la colonisation, bon, tu sais, avec les visites touristiques, là, ils venaient pour voir comment ça marche. Et après, ils sont venus avec la coopération franco-ivoirienne. Là. Ils ont essayé de nous organiser ça en coopérative. Donc, ils ont mis ça en point, quoi, pour que...
The faces of the weavers were lively rather than tired from living life. It is because they could see the beautiful fabric being created at the ends of their fingertips. Mount Korhogo is surrounded by savanna in every direction. Although it is more of a small hill, it is the mother mountain of the Senufo people. I climbed up the mountain under the morning sun. I can see traces of inhabitation in Korhogo in a single glance, surrounded by flat forests. In the crisp morning air, I could see smoke coming out of the houses. They must be preparing bread. Morning in Korhogo begins quietly, yet busily.
코트디부아르 열대 우림에서 사바나를 거쳐 이제 사하라로 연결되는 그 한 중간 지점인데, 네. 넓은 대지만 봐도 지금 가슴이 뭉클해요.
The Senufo is a tribe that lives in Mali, southern Burkina Faso, and northern CotedIvoire. They found this land to cultivate 700 years ago and created this village of Neophoan. The village created with mud and hay is all red. I feel like I'm in a magician's village. The characteristics of the tribe can be seen. The roofs stacked as cones are really thick.
짐작컨대 지금 지붕에서는 계속 제비들이 안에 지금 제비집이 있는 모양이네. 벌집 조심하세요.
The roof does not provide shelter to humans only, but also to swallows and bees.
마치 이렇게 계속 지푸라기를 덧대다 보니까 엄청 두꺼워졌고 마치 무슨 커다란 그 모자를 쓴 듯해요. 꼭 그 동화책에 나오는 마녀의 집이라고 할까?
This house is especially interesting. The whole wall is decorated with various human figures. It is a sort of temple where the village gods are served. There are the skulls of animals hanging in the entrance of the temple that cannot be entered by just anyone.
Ça, ce sont les têtes de chiens.
Ok.
Voilà les écoliers de chiens.
Ok.
C'est qu'on met dans le corps.
Ok.
개 두개골들입니다. 저기 있네 주인공. 다 이게 아까 제가 말씀드렸지만은 여기서 주로 바치는 희생 제물은 개래요. 그래서 이제
I wondered what this building without an entrance was.
Là, on met dedans, dans le grenier. Les greniers.
그러네.
Donc, tous les greniers qui sont là.
Each family member has their own grain store.
요 이제 이 가족에는 요 세 개가 아버지 거, 엄마 거, 애들 거 이렇게 돼 있습니다.
The stores are passed down through the generations.
참
Donc, vous changez
여기다가
souvent les pailles. Vous changez
쌀이
les
가득
pailles.
차면은 정말 배부를 거예요, 그죠?
Oui, mais quand la paille.
A villager was about to replace the roof of one grain store in preparation for the coming of the rainy season. The villagers have to get inside the stores using a ladder because there is no door. This store contains the combined assets of a person. It does not have any locks, but there is no theft here.
D'abord, quand ils seront prêts là, ils vont faire. Quand vous allez entrer fermer, ils vont filmer aussi. Travail que vous.
Various grains are stored inside.
채고 정해져가지고
The Senufo eat rice as their staple food.
절반 정도 꽉 차 있네요. 그러니까 이렇게 정해놨다가 이제 저녁 끼니 마련할 때 그때마다 올라와서 꺼내가고 찧어서 밥 만들고 또 쟁여놓고. 여기서 보니까 조금 더 높은 위치라고.
The grain store is a precious heritage that symbolizes the Senufo people's agricultural culture.
밑에 이렇게 뼈대가 만들어져 있구나.
They don't throw away the old roof, but add fresh hay on top. It took 1 week for 4 people to form the new hay into the shape of a roof. I wondered if the hay roof didn't leak when it rained.
Pas dans le grenier là.
Non, quand on a tout, même si c'est à l'appui qui vient là,
Oui. Ça peut
il n'y
pas
a pas
rentrer.
l'eau qui rentre dedans.
Sometimes the traditional way is much wiser than state-of-the-art technology. The method of using grain stores and repairing them is passed on to the young male members of the families.
Et ce grenier là, c'est pour lui ou bien c'est pour quelqu'un d'autre?
C'est pour lui.
C'est pour lui. Yes, he is the owner.
C'est pour ça. Ça vraiment. Mon oli. Son maman.
Il a fait ça pour sa maman.
Ouais.
Ok, bad. Yes. So.
Until the son grows up and starts his own family, the parent and child share the same grain store.
For himself, yes.
어머니가 길러오신 곡식은 당연히 아들이 먹겠죠.
The roof created by filial piety and tradition has been completed. To finish, they have to place the roof on top of the house. It is quite heavy. Several people are gathering their strength to move the roof back into its place. No matter how heavy a weight, it is always better when held together.
그래서 우리 젊은 친구가 어머니를 위해서 또 한 번 지붕을 다시 만들었습니다. 착한 아들이네요. So he's a good son for his mother.
The houses inhabited by people are also built with mud and hay. The kitchen is placed at the entrance of the house. It is humble, and I can guess how many family members there are by looking at their possessions. The son quenches his thirst after some hard work. A warm meal is being prepared for the son. The scenery reminds me of my hometown. I notice another similar scene.
그냥 똑같아요. 우리나라 누룽지하고. 예. 이 사람들도 역시 밥이 타면은 이렇게 누룽지를 해가지고 보관을 하네요.
The village of Neofoan also has cotton trees, as it is located in the cotton village of Korhogo.
코튼이에요. 여기 우리 문익점 선생님이 붓뚜껑에다 숨겨가지고 가져왔던 모카씨. 와, 모카가 이렇게 크게 나무로 자라네.
The women's lives cannot be free from cotton either. An old woman was extracting threads from the cotton ball. The soft cotton is turned into strong thread.
이렇게 실이 만들어지는 게 너무 신기해요. 이렇게 부풀은 솜인데 이게서 이렇게 실이 나오는 게.
The old woman spins thread like a master at work.
에이, 할머니가 이제 이거를 하루 종일 해도 이거 하나 만들까 말까 하는데 이거 이제 장에 가서 팔면 여기 돈으로 350원이래요. 그러면 우리 돈으로 한 700원 남지?
Mi forncar. Mi forncar. Mi dare piano.
The old lady is still graceful like the cotton flower.
진짜 만약에 이 면이 없었다면 인간의 삶이 얼마나 거칠었을까 생각이 들어요. 옷이라고 해봐야 뭐 입었을까요? 고려시대 목화가 들어오기 전에 우리나라에서 입었던 옷이 거의 뭐 삼배 아니면은 동물 가죽, 털 이것뿐이었을 거 아니에요. 그러면 삶이 얼마나 거칠거칠했을까. 여기 와서 목화의 첫 모습을 보면서 그걸 한번 상상해 봅니다.
I hear pounding in mortars. The sound signals that it is dinner time. They take out the unthreshed wheat and pound it daily for meals. I feel a little envious of their simple lives. Spring in Côte d'Ivoire is spent in preparing for farming, just like in Korea. The biggest agricultural product here is naturally cotton. Right now, there are only cotton branches that have already had their cotton harvested.
이 땡볕에 참 보통 일이 아닐 텐데.
The cotton plant only lasts 1 year. So after all the cotton is harvested, the trees need to be planted anew. No machinery is used in the process, from seeding to harvesting. It is a lot of work. The time taken from planting to harvest is short because this is the tropics. A total of 5,000 kilograms of cotton is harvested in 1 year. The annual income made from cotton is about 1 million Korean won, or 1,000 US dollars. That is a pretty good amount in Cote d'Ivoire. I hope that they will have a good year and be rewarded for their hard work. The Senufo tribe is based on agriculture, so they have a strong sense of community. But the barbed wire and blocked entrance show that this is not a place just anyone can enter. When I approach the place, a woman tells me that men can't enter.
그러니까 이 울타리가 쳐진 이 안은 지금 철저히 금남의 구역이에요. 좀 독특한 풍습이네요.
The primitive society's culture of separating women and men still continues to this day as a heritage.
여기 들어가서 하루 종일 머슴살이를 해야 할 것 같습니다.
Nobody knew why only women were allowed to work in the fields and why it was prohibited to men. The field has become part of the young girl's life because it was what her mother did and her mother before her. Most of the harvest is used as food for the family, and any surplus is sold at the market. The men do not stay idle while the women are working in the fields. They are busy making mud bricks. A good brick is made from good mud. This is another technique that the Senufo know. They repeat the task of filling in the mud in the wooden framework. And they don't forget to add in simple patterns at the end. A long time ago, people built their own houses, but now the labor has been divided.
Maintenant, quand ils vont construire la maison, ce sont les moufons qui prennent là.
Oui, mais lui-même, il ne sait pas construire une maison.
Il peut construire, mais pour...
이제 마을이 확실히 크다 보니까 일이 나눠지는 거죠. 이제 아주 우리가 볼 때는 지금 원시적으로 보이지만 여기도 이미 사회 시스템이 갖춰져 있고 분업이 이루어지고 있습니다.
On the outside, the village looks peaceful and quiet. But there is something new going on every day. I could hear a West African ethnic instrument known as a balafon. The clear sound it makes is beautiful.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
C'est balafon.
C'est ça?
The
This
rubber.
is rubber.
Voilà.
Yes.
Okay.
A dull, yet clear sound lingers on after a note has been struck.
약간 좀 금속성 소리가 나요. 나무로 돼 있는데도. 그리고 그냥 보통 우리가 흔히 아는 그 실로폰은 원래 금속이잖아요. 근데 나무로 돼 있음에도 상당히 금속성 소리가 나는 게 신기하네. 그리고 음계는 우리 알고 있는 보통 서양 칠음계하고 좀 다르죠, 소리가. 여기는 좀 비슷하고.
When you hit the wood, the different sized gourds make different sounds. Music and instruments are deeply ingrained in the Senufo people's lives, whether there is a wedding, funeral, or festival. The instrument looks heavy, but they are carrying it around to create an atmosphere. Playing the instrument tells the villagers that the funeral is about to start. Suddenly, the sky darkens before the funeral. The people do not avoid the rain, but the animals take shelter under a tree. Maybe the deceased woman is expressing her sadness at having to leave. The rainy season has not started yet, so the heavy raindrops subside after a while. I also express my condolences.
Qui vient s'asseoir, ceux qui sont dans le bois sacré.
Dans le bois sacré.
C'est eux qui viennent s'asseoir.
Oh.
The Senufo people must also feel sadness when they are separated from their loved ones and fear death. But they transform their funeral into a festival. The village women dance to the sound of instruments playing. The funeral or the festival now moves to the village arena and not the home of the deceased. All of the villagers have gathered in one place. If I hadn't known any better, I would have thought that this was a festival and not a funeral. I was extremely lucky to be able to witness the traditional ritual filled with the locals' joy and sadness. It is now time for the old woman to leave this world, receiving the farewells of family and neighbors. The enthusiastic dancing, music, and farewell ceremony reach their peak. The soft fabric made of the village's cotton is prepared to receive the deceased. Just as this fabric was first used to clothe the newborn. The deceased is clothed in cotton fabric for the last time. The beginning and end of the lives of the Senufo people are connected by a cotton thread. The funeral reaches its end. The tribe also has a custom of placing some money with the deceased for their last journey. I wondered if the old woman's life had been as festive as today's festival. I think that the old woman at least had the wisdom to overcome her sadness with laughter. Like the remains of the destroyed store, we will all disappear from this land.
어느 할아버지가 지으신 것인지 얼마 동안 사용됐을지 아무도 모르지만 여기 이제 하나가 무너져 있네요. 얼마 동안이나 버티고 있어서 얼마나 많은 가족들의 양식을 담고 있었는지 지금 이렇게 무너져서 다시 흙으로 돌아가고 있습니다.
The bodies of the dead return to the earth, but their spirit does not leave the village. The houses and graves exist together. The children play on top of their grandmother's grave. This is their everyday life. The newly dried mud bricks will be reborn as a new house. Life will return to earth, and the earth bricks will protect the family's food. The circle of life continues on. I wonder which point of the circle we have reached.